Hello friends, and welcome to the weekly moon update. In these videos, we talk about the moon energy for the current week, as well as a little bit of astrology. And we've got a little bit of astrology to talk about today, and we actually don't have a major moon phase happening today. So we kind of have like an in-between week this week as far as the moon goes, because we won't have our last quarter moon until Monday of next week. We also have longer void of course time this week, which a couple weeks ago we had one where it was like every other day, the whole day was void of course. And we have something similar going on with this week as well. So entering into June feels a lot more different than previous months of this year have felt, which have been very intense and volatile. But June and July are bringing in a little bit more positive energy and good things. So I'm really excited to jump into June, and I hope that you are too. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So the entirety of this week has a waning gibbous moon because, like I said earlier, on Monday we're going to have our first quarter or our last quarter, which is when the moon is going to be half dark. But again, that's happening on Monday. So the entirety of this week is a waning gibbous moon. When we have a gibbous moon, we've got a lot of light and a lot of energy. So even though the energy and the light is decreasing, we still have a lot of energy available to us. So hopefully this can be a productive week despite all of the void of course times that we have going on. And speaking of void of course, we're starting off Monday in void of course, and we won't officially move into Capricorn until 9:19 p.m. So basically, the entirety of Monday is transitioning. The moon is transitioning from Sagittarius, which was that full moon energy, and moving into Capricorn. So I think that the full moon is going to, like, we're going to be feeling those lingering effects. It happened Sunday at 4:44 a.m. in the morning. And then, let's see, the moon started to transition not long after that at 9:20 a.m. on Sunday. So I don't know. I think that we're gonna still kind of be feeling the full moon effects, even though the moon is not still in its full moon sign, which was Sagittarius. So hopefully the void of course time is not going to inhibit our productivity on Monday. So I don't know. We'll see. Also on Monday, the Mercury is moving into Cancer. So Mercury is the sign of communication. Cancer is the sign ruled by the moon and is the mothering, caring, nurturing energy. So anything dealing with Cancer is like, are you taking care of yourself? So Mercury in Cancer, I think this is about like it gives us this opportunity to think about like how we're communicating, to pay attention to our thoughts. Like our thoughts create reality and our thoughts affect us very deeply. And I think when Mercury is in Cancer, we can kind of start to pay attention to those thoughts and think like, am I speaking kindly to myself, or am I constantly beating myself up all the time? It's very important to become aware of your thoughts. That was like one of the first things that was really like eye-opening for me and when I started diving into spirituality and recognizing like the power that our thoughts have. And the messages in water is absolutely mind-blowing to me. And the fact that we have science to back that up and that it's not like a regular thing that's talked about is also mind-blowing to me. So I think Mercury is usually in a sign for a couple weeks or so. So I think this is a good time to be paying attention to your thoughts and making sure that you're speaking kindly to yourself. Because Cancer is a water sign, this is also a good time to be infusing good intentions and good thoughts into your water. During the Follow the Moon challenge that we do every February, we typically do the moon water intention with a Pisces moon, but there's no reason why you can't do it with Cancer and Scorpio as well. But especially when Mercury is in Cancer, it'd be a good idea to infuse your morning coffee or your morning beverage, whatever that may be, with good thoughts and good intentions. Okay, so it kind of seems like Tuesday and Wednesday is the day of the week that we actually have like the full 2.5 days when the moon is in a sign. And then again at the very end of the week, it just feels like Tuesday and Wednesday is going to be the productive times of the week. So the reason I like say this in all of the videos, the productive time of the week, is because I have found that like if I try to do something, if I just happen to have a day off where I have a million to-dos and all of these things to do on a day when the moon is in a sign that might not be a very productive sign, I find that I let myself down at the end of the day if I had loaded that day up with a bunch of to-dos. So on a Capricorn day, I know that I'm going to accomplish something. I know that I'm going to achieve the things that I set out to do. So that's how I work with the moon, and that's why I tell you, load up your to-dos on Tuesday and Wednesday. Don't like, I know a lot of times like at the end of last week, you may have been really feeling that full moon energy. The end of last week kind of had that like last day of school kind of feeling, which I think it was maybe the last day of school for a lot of people. And it just has that feeling of like where you're not going to be productive. Like, what's the point in going to the last day of school? We want to watch a movie, and Sagittarius wants to like go outside and have fun and go on an adventure. So if last week you were kind of slacking off at the end of the week and you're like, oh, I'll do everything on Monday, and then Monday comes around and you're like not able to get anything done, I'm letting you know here, don't put any pressure on Monday. Put all the pressure on Tuesday and Wednesday, because that is when the moon is in Capricorn and we can take advantage of that energy and cross off those things on our to-do list. Late Wednesday evening at 11:03 p.m., the moon's going to start to transition, but it's not going to move into Aquarius until 9:46 a.m. Thursday morning. Capricorn helps us take care of the physical, tangible things that we need to get done. Aquarius moves that energy up into the brain and helps us like find solutions to problems, approach things differently, and find new and innovative ways to do things. So if Monday didn't really work out for you, an Aquarius moon day is going to be good to figure out, okay, how can we set up our week for next week so that we like this doesn't happen again. Also, because if like you didn't get much done this week, which I think we will with Tuesday and Wednesday, but if you don't get much done week, don't plan to like work on the weekend, because the moon is going to be in Pisces, and that's just never a productive day for anyone. You're going to find yourself drifting off into la la land and daydreaming on Saturday and Sunday. So it doesn't even feel like a full day that we're in Aquarius before the moon starts to transition at 3:30 on Friday, 3:30 Friday in the afternoon. And then basically all day Saturday, the moon's going to be transitioning, and then we'll officially move into Pisces at 8:43 p.m. And I don't know why I put the military time. I usually translate the military time for you guys, but I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't. This is 3:30 and this is 8:43. So the end of Saturday and into Sunday is going to be, reading a good book, watching a fantasy movie or something. Okay, so I want to jump into the cards for this week because at the very last minute, I decided to pull from 2 decks. I originally started with the Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell because at first glance, when I looked at this week, it looked like Pisces was the only day that had pretty much 2.5 days in that sign until I started filming and I realized, oh, Capricorn is like the major sign this week. So I pulled also a card from the Ancient Stones deck, also by Rebecca Campbell. So we've got 2 oracle cards to go through today. I guess I should have these backwards. Yeah, so let's start with the Earth one because Capricorn's happening at the beginning of the week. We have scrying. Trust your intuition. Trust your visions, intuition, and plant seeds. So scrying is a divination practice used by wise ones the world over throughout history. It involves focusing the gaze on an object, for example, stones or crystals, and interpreting the symbols and images that arise. Scrying is used with the intention of receiving visions, clarity, or revelations, or simply to invite inspiration. It's a form of psychic seeing, looking deeply, and entering a state where we pay attention to what's shown or revealed to us through our intuitive senses. The scrying card is a call to trust your intuitive abilities and what your intuition is telling you. Have you been receiving visions lately that were difficult to ignore? Or have you been receiving them but not acting on them? This is a sign to begin to trust your visions and to potentially develop them even more. One of the best ways to trust your intuition is to act on it when you receive it. The more we act on it and receive confirmation, the more confident we become. You may be called to find structured ways to develop your psychic or seer abilities through training or your own exercises. Perhaps you're being called to work with the stones through scrying. To do this, find a stone or crystal, soften your gaze, and really connect with the consciousness of it. Merge with the stone and let it reveal to you what you most need to see, hear, feel, or experience. Notice the patterns that form and any images that come to you externally and internally. Let the wisdom of the stone or crystal reveal to you what you most need to see, hear, and feel. How are you being called to develop your intuitive abilities? It's interesting that I picked this card specifically for the Capricorn energy, which I think it's often overlooked, the psychicness and intuitiveness of Capricorn. So, because Capricorn is on the winter solstice, which is the darkest time of the year, and it is the new moon time of the year, which when we are dulling our senses and we're in the dark, we're able to heighten our other senses. And intuition is one of those. The winter season is a very intuitive time because we're hibernating and we're slowing down and we're getting quiet so that we're able to hear the things that we need to hear and see the things that we need to see and experience the things that we need to experience and integrate the things that we need to integrate. So it's kind of interesting that this card comes up for the moon in Capricorn, which is why I chose it. So I think it's often overlooked. Capricorn's often looked at as the boss babe, but it's also very intuitive. It's why it's successful. It's why it succeeds because it just naturally follows its intuition. So the water card is Into the Unknown. Underworld, depth, courage, and facing your fears. Earth is a water planet. Seen from space, it appears blue. Water makes up 71% of Earth's surface, yet we've explored less than 20% of its ocean floor. There are creatures of the deep that have captivated humans for millennia. It's no wonder, too, that water has been used as a symbol for our inner emotional world. There's always so much for us to discover and uncover within. Are you being called to face your fears and explore the unknown? To challenge what you thought was possible? This is a card of courage, initiation, and depth. Perhaps you're being called to make a significant change in your life. Perhaps you're being called to make a significant change in your life that you feel scared about. Or maybe what you're experiencing is more internal than that. Maybe life is calling you to venture into the shadowy depths of your own inner journey, to face things that others may be afraid to face, to heal what might feel difficult to heal, to surrender to a metaphorical depth in order to reemerge anew. In the ancient Sumerian story of the goddess Inyana's journey to the underworld to meet her sister, she leaves the comfort of heaven and earth to descend into the unknown depths. Here she encounters many trials and initiations until she returns completely changed by her experiences. This story tells us that sometimes to be born anew, we must face our fears and find the courage to venture into the unknown. How can you face your fears today? I feel like this card is very much speaking to the collective transformation that we are experiencing. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I do feel like June astrology is bringing in more positive and hopeful things. And but maybe there are a few things we still have to go through and experience and integrate. We still have some more fears to face before we actually come through to the other side. So our crystal for this week is yellow fluorite, a manifestation and money drawing stone. It activates the solar plexus chakra, helping you feel powerful and filled with possibility. Yellow fluorite embodies the law of attraction in crystal form. This good fortune magnet is a great gem for business owners as it helps attract and increase clients. The affirmation is I attract the resources I need and manifest my desires. This also has a very like Capricorn-y kind of feeling to it. Of Capricorn just has that trust and that belief that we will achieve what we are setting out to do. So this feels like a really good crystal to work with on a Capricorn heavy moon week. Our chakra card is a heart chakra card. There is a soulmate presence around you now, either in human or spirit form. You may have noticed more synchronicities recently, or you will begin to notice them soon. This presence is one that knows and loves you and is coming forward to help you heal some part of your broken heart. Let the light of this presence move into the cracks and the tender places in your heart that need mending. Your heart is ready to be whole once again. So again, this is a heart chakra card. The crystal they recommend is chrysoprase and the herb is rose. So definitely feels like we're doing some healing this week. I mean, we are in Cancer season, Cancer sun season. The moon just moved into Cancer. So this is a very kind of healing time. This is also a time of year where even though it's like the heighten of the sun season, like summer is the brightest time of year, it is also a time to kind of start to slow down, especially in Cancer season, because we had this burst of Aries energy, we had the stability, and we worked on our foundation with Taurus energy. So it's interesting that Mercury is moving into Cancer before the sun is actually moving into Cancer. I feel like usually the sun moves before anything else, but I could be wrong about that. So this feels like a very interesting week to work with this week. Like we have a lot of void of course times, but then we also have some like very productive and imaginative and intuitive times too. So I don't know, this week feels like we might be doing just like a bunch of different things, which is very characteristic of Gemini sun season. It feels like you're like Gemini is both and it's both things are true, both things are happening. Like you can be really productive but also be really intuitive and spacey and dreamy and imaginative and creative. Like it feels very like both and. It feels like a both and week. So I hope that you're able to find the thing that you need to do this week, the thing that works for you, the thing that like it feels like a very intuitive week. It feels like following your intuition is going to lead you to the things that you need to do and the things that you need to get done. And it feels like we're also being divinely guided with the soulmate card and the soulmate presence, that like somebody is here helping us and leading us. Maybe it's helping us heal. Maybe it's helping us be productive. Maybe it's helping us be creative. Maybe it's just helping us learn to use our intuition. So I don't know. It just feels like a very, very interesting week. And I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. I cannot wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. Been thinking about getting bangs again. There we go.